Hello, and thank you for tuning in to another Paint Couture Creative Team tutorial. My name is Latasha from Renaissance Refinishing, and I'm going to show you how I took this plain old piece of decor laying around my house and turned it into a 3D floral American flag country themed piece. So first we started off by using Paint Couture's primer so that we could create a really good base for adherence, and it just really brightens your colors as well. Then we took our Cozy Beige and a little Simply White and mixed them together to make a custom beige color. I didn't want the piece to be white nor beige, so I wanted an in-between color. Then we covered our piece about 2 to 3 times in this custom color. As you can see, it gets really good coverage. I really want to say I put it on twice, but I'm not really sure. Then I went ahead and eyeballed out where I wanted the blue portion to be with the faux stars. I then took a measuring tape and a pencil. If I were to do it again, I would not use the pencil because I had to cover it up with paint. But yes, I went ahead and marked off according to where I had began the first markings and just kind of followed along again and just eyeballing it. And then I decided where I wanted my stripes to be, using the same setup with the pencil and the measuring tape. I just went along, and then I took our tape and covered up the section again where our stars will be. Just regular masking tape, nothing special. I was just sure to make sure that I didn't go over anything, because wherever I go over the tape, that's where the paint will land. I didn't want anything to look weird. And then I followed those original markings again, just like I did with the star area, and followed that along for our stripes. Once that was complete, I grabbed our tape and I just placed some tape over the portions where I'm going to be going back and adding our decoupage. And I filled in the space where I'm going to be adding our stars with tape as well. Then I took our crust from Paint Couture and just a little spatula, and I smoothed it in between where the tape lies. So this portion of the piece where I do not have tape is where I smooth on the crust, just to be crystal clear. You can see we sped it up here because it is fun, but it's probably not that fun to watch in slow motion. It's a bit tedious, but honestly, it's really fun. It's really easy. It's like icing a cake. All right. Even in slow motion, it takes a while. So then after that, I took our Cozy Beige again, and I did go over the crust because the crust is white. Obviously, I want my tips to, well, you'll see why after. I do want them to match, but I am going to dry brush them, so it does kind of seem like an oxymoron, but there is a reason for it. The dry brushing is quite different than the entire piece being that color, so I wanted that effect. So I needed to cover it back up with the base color. Once that dried, I pulled up the tape that we had laid down in between our crust. This was very satisfying. Just being really careful not to pull off the tape that's on our star area. And then I sealed everything down. So I'm going to go back on with some paint and decoupage. Here's our Simply White. I'm just going to dry brush the high points of our crusted area. And I'm doing a very heavy dry brush because obviously I want to capture the fact that it's the white portion. And then I went on with my decoupage with a little spray adhesive and the Decoupage Medium from Paint Couture to lay that down. I just had some leftover pieces laying around, cut them up just to fit right in between. Honestly, it's not perfect. That was difficult, but it's rustic, so it's not supposed to be perfect. Just has to appear perfect. So I just really used no particular measurements and just whatever way it sort of appeared to be, I laid that down. And once that was down, this is what it looked like. It's already really cute. Then I went ahead and took the tape off of the area where we're going to put our stars, our blue area and stars. And I trimmed up our decoupage because I did have a little bit of overlay, and then I put some tape down to protect what I just put down as far as the decoupage and the crusted area, because I don't want to get any blue paint on that portion. And then I went ahead and sealed because I don't want the blue paint to leak underneath. And then I went on with some blue paint. I will put the name down below, but it's Vintage Flair, in case you're wondering. And then after that, I'll show you how we placed a little bit of a whitewash on top, right here. And I thought this was going to be bright enough, and I was trying to match the blue that's inside the decoupage, but I'm not quite satisfied with this. And again, we did let the Vintage Flair dry. I think we did about 2 or 3 coats. Took off the tape, and I was looking at how much it matched, and I wasn't satisfied with it, so I took our Barbados Blue from Paint Couture, and I did another little wash on top of that area. I was scared that I would get it on the decoupage, but it worked out. Just smooth it right on top of there. And then I wiped it back just like before. I found some flowers lying around and a vase, and so I cut them up and started playing with them and deciding how I wanted them. I wasn't really sure what I was going to use for stars. I was on Amazon looking for stars, but I really wanted to stick with a rustic look, so I decided to go with the flowers. I went ahead and sealed over the piece, again in entirety. Just getting ready to make sure everything's good and protected. I've already cut up all my flowers. I grabbed a little of this little glue right here, and then I started taking a little Q-tip and placing some glue on the back of the flowers and putting them down where I thought they looked best. I really just wanted it to be full and floral and have a 3D effect. I was considering butterflies too, but I love the way this turned out, and this is what it looked like when I was done. I was afraid I'd run out, but it turned out really good. I love it. And then I decided I needed some gold because the stripes were a little bit uneven and I wanted to make it just a little bit cleaner. So I put my tape down and then I sealed in between so that the gold didn't leak out too much underneath. And if it did, I thought it didn't matter. So we used our Paint Couture French Gold metallic paint, and I just placed it with a Q-tip in between the little spaces we left between our tape. Very rustic, so I'm not trying to be perfect. And that actually was a nice feeling because I'm typically very hard on myself, but it's not meant to be perfect. And then I peeled off the tape, which was so satisfying. And you can see the crust raised stencils there in our decoupage. I love the French decoupage sticking out. I love the butterflies, and it just turned out super, super cute. This is not my typical type of art. Hope you guys liked it, and please show me what you make. Have a wonderful day, and thanks for watching. Bye.